pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We have a new member, Tom. Welcome.
Thank you.
As I said a minute ago, we're going to make you work really hard. We're so glad you're here. Let's see. Who do I have to seat? Everybody's a permanent, or you're a permanent member?
Yes.
Yes, yeah, I think everybody is.
Okay,
That doesn't happen often.
no.
Okay, public participation, if you have anything that's not on the agenda, this would be the time to raise it. For the people at 165 Lee Farm Drive, you will be on the agenda. So you
Actually, I
don't
take it back.
Yeah.
It's on the agenda, apparently.
It is on the agenda.
It is on the agenda, yes, so you can cross that out.
have- Okay, let's start with application 1742, 105 Lakemere Drive. Application to build a retaining wall, and I don't know anything about this, so.
So these are all new ones that we have to
Oh, that's,
schedule
is that
visits.
new?
Yeah,
So
new.
one,
This
1742 and 1743, schedule site visits, there's nothing else you have to do with them unless someone's here for those and they'd like to tell us what's going on.
We have all these as well.
Oh, great,
So you might as well,
never mind.
if they have something to bring forward, otherwise there's no
Otherwise,
sense
there's
in
nothing
them.
doing it. We're gonna schedule, I just gotta go through the numbers.
Yep,
2014, 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, and 2020. All be scheduled for site visits. If someone has something to say about any of those tonight, now would be the time to do it. Otherwise, we're gonna go into old business. Okay? We're good. Thank you. Okay. Old business, finally.
So let's
What's
read
the
that. Read
address?
What's the address? Yes, you're
That's new.
1743.
yeah, that's new business, so we won't really be acting on that tonight. We
Yeah.
just schedule a site visit to come.
So we're done?
Yeah,
done.
that,
Next month, next month,
the office will
you'll
contact
be
you.
contacted.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, for Bucks Hill Road,
Yep.
it's a new application. You'll be presenting the details of it at the next meeting.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. You can tell I didn't look at the agenda.
Tony,
Well, no, that's fine. I have a question.
Do you have a question?
Yes, there is a time frame where we have to get the work done for FEMA.
To get it done for them?
Get it done within a time frame to be able to, our question is kind of.
We have a stream that's gotten diverted into the property.
Okay.
So when we went to FEMA to get help with the driveway that got flooded out, we brought up the stream coming into our property, it's taking property away, and the integrity of the whole stream is now diverted in a different direction. They were saying if there is some sort of categorizing it as a floodplain, we could put in a national flood insurance that they can cover and take care of restructuring the integrity of the stream.
Almost
So
financially.
you have to do that within a window, I believe.
Well, the floodplain designation, you should be able to get off of the town records, right?
From
Whether-
GIS? Yeah.
So, so
That's-
that you should be able to get
You wanna-
independently of us.
You need to contact, Mr. Marcinko. And come up to the office. We can't do this here.
Okay.
All right.
So if you can come in tomorrow or Thursday, go up to the Wetlands office upstairs. All the people that know the stuff are up there, and they can help you out.
Okay.
There's nothing we can do to help you here tonight,
Okay, all right.
because
Figured I'd
in
bring
part,
it
we don't know what you're talking about.
up. Yeah, it's-
What is
The
being done here
floodplain,
tonight?
floodplain is not really up to us.
Okay,
Tonight is if you have something specific you want to do
okay,
that involves a floodplain, a stream, a wetland, that's what we deal with.
okay.
we eventually would want to put it back to the original level before.
Yeah, that probably won't be a problem, but it sounds like you've got some initial work to do
Yes.
first, and then you'll come to us, and we'll
Okay.
try to work whatever scheduling issues you have. I don't know anything about this, you gotta do this in 4 weeks thing, this sounds crazy to me.
All right, all right.
Do you know the specifics, what has to be done by the 8th? Some kind of approval or?
Probably just an application has to be,
Probably,
would be
yeah.
my guess.
Yeah,
It's just an application, we just were not sure exactly.
We're kind of.
yeah, best bet is to come in tomorrow,
Okay,
3rd floor, wetlands,
okay,
planning, zoning, and they'll help you out, or
okay.
bring you down to FEMA and they can explain it all over again
Okay,
to us.
that's fine. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, then we'll do that. and then we'll be here.
Okay,
Okay.
that'll be great.
Thank you.
Thank you, good luck.
Yes.
All right, so back to old business.
Okay, back to old business. F 2001 308 Jeremy Swamp Road. This is a storm cleanup
I'm here.
issue. There you are. Hello.
There's two issues, I'm not gonna do both, that and the cease and correct. I submitted a planting plan
Yeah.
that you have.
Yep, just saw that.
Okay, so, I had a wetlands consultant come
Could you
out.
just, for the record, give your name
Oh,
and
sorry,
address?
Cassandra Achenbach, 308 Jeremy Swamp Road. From our meeting, I believe, right after the storm, well, going on, that I need a planting plan, so that's the planting plan that I have. I was advised from the wetlands consultant, I had originally put in another permit. I have a minimal activity permit to do my trees, which the tree work has been started. We're just waiting for the last tree that's over the driveway for the leaves to fall, because we're gonna need someone to climb it to make it a little bit safer before that happens. So that part of the permit has been started. The brush was removed, any wood down there was removed. Then the second part, I put in an emergency permit after the storm because there's so much debris in the stream right now. But after meeting with the wetlands consultant and a surveyor and an engineer, I was advised to, that I shouldn't be going into the stream and bringing a machine in and cleaning anything because I am then assuming all of the liability for my section of the stream, but that means whatever happens before me and after me that doesn't get fixed, then I'm gonna assume liability for that, and I'm not comfortable with that. So I was advised to, I can go in by hand and pick up the riprap and put that back around my pipe, and I can clean up the logs and debris on the other side. I have another map for that, and kind of leave it there because this issue is gonna keep happening every time it rains at this point.
Well, this has been a long-standing issue for you, as I recall, yes?
It has been, and then got much worse after the 10 inches of rain. So my planting plan, I was told to do it either fall, after I clean up, so after I go into the stream and move that rock, but also was told, or the beginning of the spring, depending. I do need to bring in some soil to go around the tree. I don't know who was at the last site visit. I believe Carl was. There's a huge ravine now where the tree is, where all the water came down, so that has to be filled in. So that's my next step.
Okay. Wish Jordan was here.
Not here
You
tonight.
went to that.
I did.
And I went.
Well, we have two things going on,
And we
right?
have
Yes, two
so
separate
we
things.
Separate
So-
those into,
Okay, so the planting plan was for the cease and correct.
Okay.
yeah.
Why don't
So
we
that
work-
is now
Let's work
submitted.
Why don't we work with that first?
Okay.
Did you look at it?
Briefly, do we have any kind of draft resolutions for these or anything?
I don't think we do.
Okay. So, yeah, they're,
We're not caught up.
I think what they have is fine. My only question is, we usually bond these plantings. Do we need to do that?
I don't think in this case that's
Okay,
worth bothering.
so they're
We've had too much
proposing,
damage in
it
the
looks
storm.
like 3, 6, 9, a dozen trees, basically. Some red maple, some dogwood, winterberry, et cetera. That, to me, seems to be appropriate
And
for
it's
what
a-
they have
and a
going on.
Professionally proposed plan.
It is,
done.
it is. So they have them located on the site. So I think that satisfies the mitigation
I'm good
part
with
of
that.
it.
You wanna move to approve it then?
So we need to move then to cancel the cease and desist, is
Yep.
that correct?
We can do it either way. We can approve the plan and cancel it, or we can cancel it and approve the plan.
Okay, well, I would normally approve according to a draft
I
resolution.
would too, but we don't have it, so.
We'll approve pending of.
Yeah, is that all right with you?
pending-
We can give you an approval on the planting plan. We have to make it contingent upon getting the final resolution. The office has just been too busy to put some of this together, frankly.
Okay, so
So
the
we're gonna
final,
move forward, but it might take a few days for you to get the
Actually
actual
get the actual
permit
printed
in the
permit,
mail.
okay,
okay?
Because
Yes.
we have to generate a resolution to go with it, specific to your application,
okay,
so.
Spence, you could
um,
approve it and say, contingent on the, on the resolution, on the approval of the
That's what we're gonna
resolution.
do.
So you can actually
Yeah,
approve it
that's
today.
what we're gonna have to do.
Yeah.
So I will make a motion to suspend the cease and correct order for 308 Jeremy Swamp Road. Can we do this in one motion?
Do it in one motion.
And to approve, what's the application number for this? To approve
F2001.
application F2001 planting plan for same address, 308 Jeremy Swamp Road. Pending,
Final
pending, yeah, pending the creation of a resolution, appropriate resolution.
And have a review by the enforcement officer, just to make sure it all works.
Well, he'll be the one generating it.
Well, that's true.
You can review it too.
So,
that'll work. That works
I
for
think
me.
that's okay, right?
Okay, I'll
Alright.
second that.
Discussion?
Any discussion, gentlemen, lady?
Sounds good.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. You're good.
okay. So we're
Now-
good with my plan to just clean up by hand?
That's,
Yes.
And
that's
leave it.
fine. That's like, no equipment in the stream, though.
No, well, that's why I went, well, I'm not even bringing,
Good. Are
Equipment
you
in.
getting anywhere with your neighbors? Because it is kind of
so
a
they-
larger issue.
so they just came to visit me last week. And this is the first time I've talked to them since the tree fell, and I kind of said, your tree fell on the power line, you have to clean it up. So they said they were willing to. I think they have a site visit with Jordan next week, because they're now realizing that the water's no longer flowing the way that it should. So it's kind of missing their culvert and going around it. So like, it's
Oh,
a
that's
much,
not good. Okay.
it's not good. But
So
again,
what-
I'm not touching my property
No,
and
that's
causing
fine.
issues for anybody
It's
else.
smart.
Okay.
If you all work together, it'll work a lot better. Thank
Okay.
you very much. Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay, application F2002, 268 Jeremy Swamp Road. Driveway repair, bridge washed out. Anybody here on that one?
I'm sorry, which one?
268 Jeremy Swamp.
Yes, we went to that one. She's already done what she's calling temporary repairs to replace the pipe and
Right.
rip wrap or whatever, so that she has use of the driveway to get into the house. Apparently, she's gonna do some further work at some point in the future.
But we don't have a plan for that.
As far as I know, we don't have a plan for that.
So all we can do is give her a retrospective permit for the repairs that have been done.
Right, how temporary is
I would
temporary?
That's another question.
I would say that's right.
Okay, so let's, why don't we move to, I will do that. I'll move to approve the permit for the temporary repairs that have been done, subject to continuing review and getting permanent repairs and a permit application in for that at some time in the reasonably near future.
Wait, so you're approving the permit?
Temporary
Temporary
plans,
plans,
permit for the temporary, retrospective, because they didn't have it, they just did the work.
Although,
And then
So
they
it's
have
not-
to follow up, do a permanent, and come back for that.
Are we gonna put a time limit on that?
why don't we call those emergency repair
Yeah,
instead of
emergency
temporary
repair.
perhaps?
Yeah.
Emergency repairs, so amendment accepted, thank you. 6 months? What do you think?
I think you should have a
That'll
time
put us in
limit.
the middle
Well,
of the
we can't do
winter,
that. That
kinda,
doesn't work.
so I don't,
And if we're approving the preliminary, the
Within a
emergency
year?
repair, not gonna follow that.
I I think we can just stop there, just approve the
leave it at
emergency
that.
repairs and leave it at that.
We'll leave it at that.
So let's bring it up for discussion when we talk about this.
Okay, that works. Okay, so
I'll
that,
second that motion.
all right. Discussion, further discussion? Discussion, no? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Passes. We've approved the emergency repair, and that's all. Kept it simple. Application F 2006, that's 2006, 1674 Georges Hill Road.
Okay, that's the one you and I
Yep.
and
Welcome, gentlemen. If you could just state your names for the record, please.
Russell Handelman, 1674 Georges Hill Road, representing Brook Hill LLC.
My name is Brian Wood with Woodwater Soil, the owner, and put together a plan, had an opportunity to meet with some of the staff out there and walk it down, you know, and being brought on to look at the situation. There were other folks that were involved, trying to figure out what the plan is, and I said, first plan is get on the agenda, get a plan, get it to you guys. From the packet that I provided with some maps, it starts out with just a general topography survey off the town's GIS. I put it together because you don't really realize that essentially on Brook Hill LLC's property, 3 rivers come together. One coming off the forested hill out of Oxford that's relatively stable, an unnamed brook that goes out toward Georges Hill, had some compromised culvert in the road, and then the large state bridge that's completely failed right next to the Handelman's property. As a result of that, they picked up quite a bit of, you know, debris. They lost a couple bridges. Luckily, they have a driveway upriver that they're able to get through that hasn't been compromised like a lot of the folks in town that we're hearing from tonight. So the proposal before the commission is just to start out the debris cleanup. Get the property clean, get it somewhat restored, and as you'll see in the punch list on the cover letter is, you know, we're proposing to take the wooden bridge that's shown as, you know, task number 1 was a small footbridge / landscaping, run equipment across the brook, and they've ordered a, you know, engineered free-span steel bridge to replace the wooden one that was always questionable. Could equipment get across it? So they're building something that they know they can get a mower across. Won't provide vehicle access, but allows machinery to access the lower end of the property. The other, you know, major concern is that the well house that provides most of the water to the home that's been there for, you know, upwards of 100 years. The river cut back toward the head wall on the artesian well, and it's leaking out into the river. So the goal was to just pull some of the rock that's there up against that open soil, just to make sure the base of the well doesn't erode out into the river. So you can see conditions that we put in, some photos under well house on the second page that shows what it looked like. It's essentially a mow to the edge of an old riverbank, you know, with some invasives that they were managing, and now it's cut back about 4 feet of river toward the well house. So the only thing we came into the commission for phase 1 is just to pull some rock up against that well house to make sure we don't lose it in the next storm that comes by. Lining up the installation of the steel bridge so that they can get from their garage that's kind of landlocked just below where Georges Hill is on the map is a garage on a peninsula between the 2 brooks. Kettletown Brook being on the left and north of the property, outlined in gray, kind of where the banks went from to where they are today. They've got some open soil next to the little garage that the ripples in the stream tore out down to the root bed of the trees. So we're looking at just top dressing the soil, getting into the area shown in red on the map, which is essentially the flood limit, where the flood made it into a meadow where that's got a red box in it, and the adjacent upland soils where we just want to get all of the brush, tree stumps, anything that's dead, diseased, dying, that's stuck on the existing trees. We got a forester involved, and that was part of the initial application before I got involved, where we were out trying to just identify what trees are so compromised that they need to be removed. And in doing so, I said, I was engaged and walked the whole property and said, you just got to start with the cleanup. Let's come to the commission with a cleanup, take the trees that are completely compromised and stump thrown, get the weight off those big 4 feet oaks, leave the stumps in place, and then once we get the property cleaned up and all the man-made debris out, reassess it, bring in somebody who's qualified to work in these streams, and come up with a game plan. So we're not coming to you guys for any in-stream work, we're just coming in to basically cover the couple of points. Replace the footbridge, armor the well house. We're still deciding whether or not we want the second footbridge, you know, at this point, there's gonna be so much work in the area, it really doesn't make sense, but we figured include it. And then, number 4 on there that's highlighted in orange shows the peninsula, the area right adjacent to garage that had photos in the original application, where the stream had scoured out a couple of pretty good trees that we hope will hold up if we re-topsoil them and just get them to not be desiccated by the wind. And then both of those areas, we plan to take what wood chips we can develop in the meadow that's to the left of the drawing I sent. And if we're generating wood chips, bring them in and take out several trees so that we can get a small skid steer in and stabilize the surface of that peninsula in preparation for coming in with phase 2, which is gonna require bringing small excavators in, moving boulders around in the stream course, and figuring out how do we take this 6-foot eroded bank that's actively wide open and eroding and take some of the bed load from the river and maybe bring in some rock, but in moving machines around on that peninsula, I'd rather have wood chips on it, just so that we're not chewing the roots of the machines when we come in with phase 2. So at this point, what we're into the commission for is a couple of tasks on the cover letter, you know, topsoil and wood chip, replace a footbridge, armor the well house, put a new vehicle bridge in to replace the previous one. Debris cleanup, I agreed, met with the forester, him and I are gonna try to get out there next week and actually paint every single small tree that's gotta come out to get machinery access to the peninsula, mark all the big trees that we both agree are necessary for removal, leave all the stumps in place, and then at that point, you know, we commence with getting bids on what trees and how big they are and how we can get them all out of the stream course, as well as all the man-made material that's shown in item 4 was the kind of the best shot. Big trees went down when they jammed in the confluence of the 3 streams. They caught everybody's tires and garbage and man-made whatever else came down. So the goal was go in and gingerly remove all that wood, get all the man-made stuff out of it, get us back to original grade, and then decide and come back to the commission with a more formalized plan for how are we gonna stabilize some of these stream banks. We'll have to be working in concert with the state, because they've got the failed culvert bridge on George's Hill that's still closed. They were able to, you know, re-armor the whole next leg of it down to Kettletown to get the park open, but, you know, it's not a priority because everybody can gain access to their properties now. So you can see, essentially top left is just a location map. I threw the topo in there just so the commission would know the gradients going into the peninsula and the 3 streams. And the couple of things that we're asking to kind of do under emergency to get a game plan. And then after that, if you go to page 3, there's no way to define in the stream courses until we get the stream courses kind of man-made debris and pavement and steel bars out, which of these techniques is gonna apply where. But in speaking with the clients, generally their goal is to restabilize the stream, get it vegetated, get some natives in there, and it'll probably be a myriad or intersecting of all of these designs as slopes change and grades change and the river changes. It drops probably 30 feet in elevation over 300 feet there. So figuring out step pools and where to put them is really gonna be
That's the
after
zone.
we clean the site out.
This is
And then bring
completely
somebody
cut
in to get a
back
game plan.
to about
But you can see the bottom 2
there.
photos on
This is gone.
the last page that we submitted is essentially what they're looking for,
5
which is
feet.
their footbridge, bouldered
Straight
stream
cut.
edge,
This is
native
completely
plantings.
Yeah, the
That's what
footbridge
it's
is of
called, yeah.
particular importance, at least before
This is
winter.
all for
We like to get it in
rocks.
because,
Some of the sides of cars.
assuming that there is significant snowfall, the
Some of those-
upper driveway to the house will be impassable for oil delivery. And in the past, the oil delivery truck is parked down by the garage and he's, you know, carried the hose up the hill to fill up the oil tank. And without the bridge, he can't get up the hill to fill the oil tank in the winter. So we certainly hope to have the bridge in before snowfall starts.
Yeah.
Again, this property has been in our family since 1937, and we have a great desire to do our best to maintain it in the condition that it has been in for the past 85 years that we've all been living there and enjoying it.
As I recall, the bridge and the armoring around the well will be done without going into the stream itself. It'll all be done from
Correct. The way
the
that,
solid ground, right?
the way that we've been able to access it is, no machines in the river, nothing in the water course. The free span bridge, the gentleman who's gonna deliver it has said he's got a forklift and a small machine will be on the other bank. So with the tailgate lift on the delivery truck, and we're hoping to be able to slide it right off and set it in place on gravel. No real substantive disturbance to the edge of the stream. The previous bridges all had hard scrabbled masonry abutments that are
Go on.
gone. So we went a little longer so that we could land on high dry ground and galvanized, and, you know, I think the only change you'd see is we discussed putting some, 1-inch rock where the bridge sits, just so it's not sitting on dirt. It's got a shovel full of gravel, but they're certified for direct ground contact. So we think, there'll be no challenges getting that in there. I can never sign for the guy operating the machine, but I know, he confirmed to me, we're not going in the river. I said, okay, then we'll seek permission to put the bridge in.
Should probably pin that bridge, so.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I think once we get it in and we get it functional, I
Yeah.
said, we really may decide to lift it, pour something and set it on something. I said, but for right now, let's just get it in so they can get access for the winter. And when we're in there with big machinery trying to figure out where the river wants to go and where it makes the most sense in review with the commission, the bridge may move 3 feet this way or that way. That's part of the reason we decided not to form and pour and pick a line. If we have something we can move during final design that makes the most sense, it gives us flexibility.
Questions?
Do we have an application that shows this list of what, if I understand this correct, you're doing this part of the list and the rest is gonna be in the future? So is that what we have on our application?
I believe
What
it
I-
is,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah, what I ended up submitting is there was 2 applications. Russell was smart enough, on behalf of the LLC to get something started with the commission. And then I came in kind of mid-list of trees. We have the supplemental that adds to that, Carl, that says, here's the forester's recommendation for each of those
Thank
trees.
you.
That says, leave it, take it out.
Okay.
Initially, we just wrote a species list, what we thought would have to go on the property. And once we walked it all down together with the commission as well, we said, there's more than just tree removal here. There's debris, there's cleanup, there's stabilization, and we really should get that done.
Okay.
And then come back in for phase 2.
So he wants to really do down to here.
Correct. So, just going through, this is the actual application.
Yep,
We're doing really the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 items on the list, right?
yep.
This is for the record, so, okay.
Let me take a look at it quick. I have it in my backpack.
Yeah,
Yeah, this is all different
Yep.
stuff, needs a separate.
Right. That's
And-
phase 2.
And it's gonna be a lot more extensive than that too, when they finally do it.
Oh, I'm sure it will.
They're moving rocks around.
So I think the only things that aren't on those first 12 are the items that are on the supplemental that I came in to you guys with on that cover letter. So if you go back to the original page, what I realized,
I don't think I have that.
it's that first page. See the list at the bottom of the
Punch
photo?
list, yeah,
That's the only items that we amended and added
Oh.
okay.
to match the map that came in. Sorry, guys.
These are pretty much the same ones, aren't they?
Yep, removal debris.
Same, it's the same.
It's the same.
Talking about this punch list you're
Yeah.
calling it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all pretty much included in there, I think.
Okay,
Well,
just wanted to make
actually-
sure they match.
The bridge isn't,
The bridge, I don't think the bridge was in here.
no.
No, not at that point, no.
Well, we're gonna, all right, so,
We'll
let's
add
see if I
that.
can word this so it works. Move to approve the emergency repairs per the first 12 items on the application list dated 9/5/2024, plus the punch list of items 1 through 6. Some of these are overlapped, approving all of those temporarily with our normal restrictions, which is you don't go in the stream. Does
Correct.
that work, gentlemen?
Yep, that makes sense.
Okay,
Yeah,
you comfortable?
yes,
Want a second?
sure, I'll second the motion.
Discussion?
All set, sounds good.
No? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you as
Appreciate it.
well.
And good luck.
Yeah.
We'll probably be out again a
Yeah,
couple
I'm
of
sure you
times,
guys
'cause
will.
we wanna see it. You wanna see this property, it's gorgeous. All right. That's Sonia's. Which one are we doing here? 2007, I think, right?
Yes.
All right, application F 2007, that's 1040 and 1042 Purchase Brook Road.
I haven't heard anything from Mark Lancor or the applicant, so I'm not sure if you want to continue that for the
Well-
next one, or,
Couldn't get that.
I
What did
don't-
she say?
We don't have any information.
Oh. Motion to table?
Yeah, I'll second.
motion to continue.
Application 1040?
No, that's the address.
No,
That's
No,
F
20007
2007. Yeah, all in favor?
to our
Aye.
next meeting.
Aye. Passes. If you need a second, I'll be a second on that. Application F 2008, 1746 South Britton Road. Repairs to the Masonry Bridge. Anybody here on that one?
Yeah, I believe
Did you go to that one?
I think that's one I went to,
You did the same.
compared to my notes.
Oh,
we didn't have
right.
an all lot of-
I don't
Same
know
thing.
that. Sonia, do we have an actual application on this one?
We do have an applicant, yes.
The engineer was here last meeting.
I think so.
Yeah.
I'm checking, because I wrote down a list. 1746 South Britton Road? Yeah,
Yes.
yes, I was there. Driveway washed out, stonework next to culvert washed out, clean up rocks in stream, reinforced culvert, repair driveway.
Is this just a temporary repair or is it permanent?
Yeah, they have a temporary egress to walk, across the bridge.
So it really is
But
temporary.
it's all washed, that's completely temporary. What they wanna do is reinforce around a pump house or a small building up above.
Okay.
And-
For tonight, though, we're just dealing
Okay.
with the emergency. Because
Okay.
we don't have an application for the more exhaustive work. I mean, this is not a minor.
No,
Right,
this
so
is,
it's
this is a
gonna cost
lot, yeah,
hundreds
no,
of
that's-
thousands.
I took that picture, yes.
Which
yeah.
one?
1746.
This is the wrong permit. This is Purchase Brook.
Oh, well, then we're doing South Britton.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's why it doesn't match.
Yeah. That's what they've
Oh,
done.
I know where that
We're
is.
just
Yeah,
getting them so they can walk
yes,
in.
yeah.
And we'll need full,
That's a
full
major,
application.
that's a
for that.
major,
Major.
that's a major redo.
God, it certainly is.
So, I
Well,
guess,
let's move to approve the temporary, the emergency repairs,
which is that
which
wooden
is the wooden
platform?
bridge, right?
Okay.
I don't know, but that doesn't, that only allows foot traffic, so I'm not really sure.
Yeah, how are they gonna,
Yeah.
Well, if they're gonna do more than that, I think we need to see what it is.
Yeah,
do they
Yeah,
have any,
we're gonna
do
need
they have
some
car
kind of
access
plans for
right now?
that.
Any
Yeah.
car access?
No.
So,
How do they get to the house?
They're walking across that,
There's no vehicle access,
no,
right?
there
no,
isn't.
no vehicle access.
Yeah, but we
So they
can't,
park
on
right
an
near the road.
emergency basis, we can approve that,
Right.
but we can't approve any
Yeah,
other
I mean,
construction.
this-
We need
we
engineered
need
plans.
engineered-
Well, we could if we knew what it was, but
But we don't.
we don't.
No, we don't have.
So
it.
we need a plan for that.
Yeah.
So motion to table and
we have to
notify the
table.
applicant that they need to get us some more extensive plans.
I'll second
work-
that.
They were working with, was it Rocky Mountain or Rocky Ridge?
That's
I think there is a Rocky Ridge from
Rocky-
Woodbury, I
Yeah,
think.
Rocky Ridge was there, but again, they were still looking
Yeah.
at, do we
So
have to
we don't
do
have a
this?
plan,
But we
so
don't have
we
a
can't do
plan.
anything with that. All right,
Okay.
let's table that one, Sonia,
Okay.
and let them know we need a
Site plan?
plan.
Yep.
Both of them, I guess.
Same road, joint driveway, I think.
Well, I meant this one, Purchase Brook and
Yes.
South Britain, it's the same thing. We
Right.
don't have any plans.
Yeah. Carl's saying the same notice basically for 2007 and 2008.
Yep.
Thank you. Application F 2010, 165 Lee Farm Drive.
Hi, that's me. I'm Jenna Wilkie, 165 Lee Farm Drive. I submitted my application before, but I didn't have a solid plan in place, and I have since worked with engineers and a construction company to come up with a plan, which I just got today, so, sorry.
All right.
Thank you. Okay, so we can't approve this at this point, because we haven't seen it.
Okay, yeah, I just
We have
wanted
to
to get
look
it to
at
you guys, I
this.
picked it up on my way here,
We
so.
probably with this, want to go over and look at it again
Yeah.
and see how that looks. Is that
Sure.
work for you?
That's fine,
Okay.
the pit will still be
So
there.
we'll accept the plan,
Okay.
we're not gonna approve it, and we'll come, give you a call and come and take a look
Okay,
sometime in the next few weeks.
okay,
And
that sounds good.
hopefully we'll be able to approve it next month.
I hope so.
I hope so too. Do you have a time on trying to get this work done?
No, I have to get the funds first. FEMA wouldn't really do much, so.
Well, that could be a while then.
Yeah, so they really.
They're
only-
right next door if you wanna go over.
Yeah, they've been to my house 3 times. They really
Bang on
only
the
care
curtain.
about the structure itself rather than the
Yes,
yard.
this is true.
But I told them that since the septic pipes are exposed, it does create, an issue with me living in the house. If something happens to the pipes, it might
Your
infect.
septic is exposed now?
My septic pipes are exposed. They were,
Well, you could fix that.
the whole yard is washed away. So I can't cover it up
you can't just
without
do it.
rerouting the river first and making sure everything's back in
Right.
place and
Yeah, it's a rough.
step by step by
she's
step,
got a
yeah,
rough-
it's,
Rough spot there.
yeah.
That is rough.
It is
Okay,
pretty
well, we
rough.
will do what we can.
I'm
Okay,
just up the
all
street
right.
from her.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Good luck.
So, motion to continue?
Yeah, we have to continue.
You don't need a motion for that, I guess.
No, we don't need a motion.
We don't need a motion?
No. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. Application F 2013, 208 South, or excuse me, 508 Southford Road. Emergency repairs to shared driveway.
That's the one we
That's
went
the
on
one we
with the two.
did, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
2 culverts, 2 streams.
This,
So that one
I don't know what to
was
do
the
with that.
one that they did a replacement on these in 2017 or 18. So I think we could probably approve that.
I'm gonna give you that.
Again, this, they did some emergency
And I
repairs.
think we can
guess.
approve the
I
emergency
think we can
repairs,
approve that.
but not for permanent, they need more.
I think we could approve it according to what their last plan was that was approved in 2018, couldn't we? If that's what,
But they don't know if that's what they're gonna do yet. When we were out there, we were out to look at this property, and it basically blew out the driveway twice. And when we were there, they were not sure exactly what they were gonna do to reconstruct it. So I don't see, since we don't have an actual plan, I mean, we could
So-
approve per the old plan,
But that didn't
but
work
then,
very well.
but then they'll follow that, they have to
We-
come back anyway, so
Right.
what's the point?
We can just approve the emergency
Yes.
repairs that they've done and leave it at that.
I think we can do that. What do you think?
Well,
Does that work for
seems
you
like
guys?
the
Yeah.
only thing
Yeah.
we can do.
Works for me.
I think it is. All right. I'll move to approve the emergency repairs that have been done to date, and that will be the end of that.
Yeah, if they're gonna do something additional, then
They'll have
they
to
need to
come
come
back.
back.
Yeah, well, I have to see it.
Well, it's massive,
Yeah.
and the whole
It's
wetland
gonna
is
be
wiped
yeah.
out. Okay. Discussion? No discussion? No. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes to approve the emergency plan. I want to give this back to her.
Okay. Here,
Excuse
give
me
her
for a
this one
moment.
too. No, not that one.
All right, now, moving on to show cause, I see some correct orders. First item is 471 Old Poverty Road.
This is for the Southbury Land Trust where Joe requested to just keep it on the show cause hearing until they figure out what,
Okay, so
what
we just-
resolution they can come to.
Motion to continue.
I don't know.
Let's just continue this one.
Yep.
There's nothing else for us to do at
Yep.
this point.
Do we need a motion?
To continue, I don't think so. Cease and correct 308 Jeremy Swamp Road.
We did that one.
We did. I think it's okay. What do you think?
Think what's okay? We did that, we did that one already. We closed the cease
We
and
did
desist.
that.
Yes,
Yes, oh no, we really did it.
yeah, we did.
That's over, done.
We closed and approved her
We approved the
planting
plans.
plan.
That's right.
All right.
Okay,
That was first up.
And then you have this, I guess.
yeah, what is this one? I think we're gonna go to application 1738, 228 Burr Road. Proposal to change location or type of a pool from an above-ground to an in-ground pool.
So this was actually previously approved by this commission
The
for,
above-ground pool
yeah,
was
for an
approved,
above-ground pool, and then they wanted to change it to a in-ground pool, and Chris is here today too. He's the pool
I don't.
Could
professional.
you state your name and address?
Chris
for the
Keeler,
record?
Prospect Pools. Representing the owner.
For,
Okay.
Jim Cotter.
For the Cotters?
Yep.
Okay, so what's the proposal?
So they had a 1632 above-ground pool that was previously approved
Yes,
with a footprint of 20 by 42. Want to change it to a 14 by 28 in-ground pool with the same exact footprint between the patio and fence.
the in-ground pool raises some other issues like, where's the soil gonna go?
We're taking everything off-site.
Okay,
Then we're bringing in the backfill, 3/4 inch process to backfill it.
thank you. That's stock.
There's no stockpile or anything.
No stockpile?
No.
Okay.
There's no room.
I guess one question I have, this doesn't really tell me anything, is there gonna be like a pool shed or anything like that?
As of right now, they're thinking of doing a shed
Pump has
later.
to go somewhere.
I'm sorry?
Pump has to go somewhere.
Well, the filter system is gonna go towards the well.
Do we have a? Thank you. Okay, this doesn't show that. I don't think that's.
That's the well.
Oh, is that the well?
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
I think
So,
we're 37
so the shed's, the pump's gonna go between the pool area and the well, you said, correct?
If they put a shed in, yeah, then we're gonna put the filter system behind the shed.
It's still not clear.
you mean for emptying the pool?
Well, you need a pool just to circulate the water. And where are they proposing to, how are they proposing, how are you proposing to deal with, backwash and similar?
Well, backwash, their driveway's right there. If anything, just do a surface backwash. The filter system I put on right nowadays, I mean, we might backwash once a year. You never empty the water out of the pool. It's a liner pool, it's not a concrete pool.
Oh, all right. No, you don't. I don't know, I haven't seen this. You haven't seen it. Has anybody seen it?
Somebody must have.
I remember I was at a meeting when it was first brought up.
Burr Road, I don't think.
That would've been the same thing for above ground pool.
Yeah.
You know, in-ground
We should
pools.
take a look at it, though.
What's that?
Nobody's gone out to see this, have they?
Somebody
We
had
had
to.
initially for the, when the application
that
was
was
for
for
the
an
above-ground pool,
Yes,
yes,
for the
we had done the
That's a
site
little
visit, but
different. I
we
think
wanna do
need
it
to go
again
do
for the
another site
in-ground?
visit.
Okay. So
Yeah,
set up a
it
site
changes
visit?
changes it a bit. We're gonna do another site visit.
All right, what do you want me to mark the pool out?
That would be great.
You know when you're doing a visit, or you guys gonna call me?
We will call,
Why don't you mark what you have shown as the fence? And that
That's
would,
no problem.
huh?
Yep.
Why don't you just mark the four corners of the fence?
That's all you want? I mean, I'll do
I
the
think
pool
so.
deck, fence, the whole, I don't care, whatever you want.
That would be kind of the limits of, activity more or less, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because there's approval for an above ground pool, which is the same thing as far as discharge. Actually, it's more discharge with above ground than in ground. But, you know, whatever you guys want.
It's just it's a substantial change. I think we do want to take a look at it.
All right.
So if you can state where we're gonna put the silt fence,
Yep.
that'll be the limits of excavation and activity.
Yep.
That'll help, and mark out where the pool equipment's gonna go,
That's not a problem.
please.
Mhm.
Thank you very much.
So you
Appreciate
guys are
that.
gonna call me and tell me when you're gonna walk it, or?
Yes, can you, he's to be.
The office will call, I'll call you and
Okay.
schedule an appointment, yeah.
All right, good enough. Have a good
Great,
night.
thank you very much. All right. Site visit. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I know
Wait,
you're here for
there's-
something.
One more. We have Tony, who is here for application 2020, and he would like to address the commission.
Please,
Yeah.
Is that?
2020?
1318 Jeremy Street.
Good evening.
Oh, okay.
I have,
Could you give us your name?
yeah, Tony Craig.
Thank you.
I'll hand this to you. I don't want to overwhelm you, and I don't want to anybody.
That's fine.
That's all right.
But it's a thorough, rather thorough, project plan to restore the property to its original beauty and charm. It was, if you're all familiar with the property known as the Glass House, I've been the owner for the past 4 years and done my best to maintain the beauty and historical aesthetic of the house. It was devastated by the flood event, as you can imagine, there with being right up to Jeremy Brook. A lot of the patios and stone structures and man-made structures and dam were compromised. And the quotes to come in to repair a lot of the work is astronomical and completely overwhelming to the point that I'm, paralyzed and crippled financially. So I try to think of it as how can I, do this as simple as possible and as cost effective as possible. And so I've had to reimagine the property because some of the things just need to change. It was built, in the late 1700s and early 1800s, and we no longer live in that climate. The development around, I think, in just the area as well as climate have increased drastically in the past 4 years that I've lived there. I've seen the water flow increase substantially to where it's been, it's caused my husband and I to just kind of be prisoners of the property in terms of traveling anywhere, anytime it rains, we kind of panic. And of course, this event on the 18th, we were prepared to shop vac the lower level like we normally do when it rains. But
They don't
there
make
was
you
no
shop
shot.
vac
Yeah,
that day.
yeah. We had 3 of them going, and before you know it, it was inundated. We had to, call 911 and try to get rescued, but they couldn't even get to us because of the whole area being inundated with water. So eventually, we just kind of made a run for it with our dog and our cat, and neighbors helped us, get across the washed out road. And the neighbors rallied around us in the weeks afterwards to help us kind of get things cleaned up. So now we're at a point where I've had to reconcile what was and try to make peace with what it can be. So it's very, I've used my old Photoshop skills and AI, that's good for something, to generate intended visions for the property, and tried to illustrate as best I could to demonstrate the work that needs to be done. And you know, again, I don't want to. The plan is not to really change anything in terms of the water flow or the amount the water comes through the property, as much as it is just to clear all of the debris and any man-made structure that no longer serves a purpose or has been decimated by the flood, and clear that out of the way and work with Mother Nature so that the water can just flow through the property and I can live next to it in harmony with, you know, I look at pictures of the property before, and it's really heartbreaking for me to, you know, wake up every morning and look out my window and see what I'm living in. And when I think about this patio that was a spillway patio that's been just completely demolished, and in the project plan it talks about excavating it to open up the waterway, the channel, so that the water that flows through can actually be can go through without coming over the retaining walls and into my house. And it's upsetting because it was a place, you know, it was like a beautiful patio to sit on, and I think, well, where am I going to sit now? You know, like where's all this charm going to come in? So I've tried to think about where I can use the stone like retaining walls in the canal that I talk about that are crumbling, and I want to reuse all of that material to rebuild another retaining wall, create another patio on the back side of the property, take this beautiful hosta island that was in the middle of the stream that's been devastated, and try to replant as many of the hostas that are surviving and clinging on where I can to help, you know, with erosion. And basically it's just moving everything around. You know, it's like, yeah, I don't want to bring anything in that I don't have to. The crazy thing is that Saturday I went down to the stone place here and I canceled my order of gravel that I was going to have delivered to put around my fire pit. And Sunday I got gravel delivered by the universe, and wasn't quite the size I want, but I'm going to work with it and do what I can to, you know, restore the property to its former beauty, and just try to, you know,
No idea what to do with this.
customize it for 2025 instead of 1825.
It's a new application, right?
Yeah.
So we gotta go out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I figure
We need to
you'll
come out and
definitely.
look. I'm not even sure that we can you and we can address all of this in one application.
Yeah,
It sounds like you're gonna have a lot of changes as you go forward and discover what is still standing, what's undermined, what have to be moved.
yeah,
And we have to think about how to do that.
yeah, definitely.
I don't want you coming back 6 times if you don't need to. On the other hand, if you do need to come back 10 times, that's okay too.
Mhm.
But we also don't want to be charging you for doing this, and recognizing that this is not something you did, you know, nature said. If I may, are you living in the house?
Yeah.
How?
Well, the lower level of the house, which was like the living room and a bedroom and bathroom and kind of the utility room, that was all under 4 feet of water. But that's been like gutted down to the studs. But the main level of the house, which did get some water seepage in through the front door and stuff, so there's a floorboard missing, and it's not as charming, you know, and comfortable as it once was. But at least the bedroom on the top floor and the you know, the septic and all the utilities work, so we're able to stay in it.
And structurally sound, you don't have
Yeah, the structure, there was a big concern about the structural integrity of it because the patio and retaining wall in the spill pond just past the falls, right next to the house, had washed out. So we moved every kind of remaining, sentimental piece of furniture or belongings out into storage just in case something happened. But yeah, we got that filled under the emergency request, and then and did a little cleaning up to where the leaves are covering a lot of stuff, and people are like, "Oh, you've made a lot of progress," and I'm like, "No, it's just the leaves," But anyway, we're able to live there, thankfully.
Good.
Okay, well, you have a lot of work to do,
Yeah.
and we'll come out and take a look and cheer you
Yeah,
on.
I would love to, a lot of people come by and look at it, some totally unannounced, and some when I'm not there
We'll
per
call
my
you.
cameras.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm
We'll
happy to
make
show
it a
you
point.
around. I'll try to clean up before you get there. But
Good
thank
luck.
you for your time.
We'll give you a call probably sometime in the next couple of weeks, and
Okay. All right, I appreciate it.
come out.
Thank you.
As I said, I'm sure it'll be more than one visit.
Yeah, and I tried to be as thorough in talking with, Sonia and Jordan, and include as much as I could or foresee in that project plan. There are some areas, and I guess, that are, there's the brook that runs between 1318 and 1370, which is Blake Leonard's property there, and that's been so much sediment and rock has just it's changed the course of the water, and it's raised it, so it's very shallow. So my garage is still quite compromised, and another rain would potentially wash it out further or cause more damage to everything that I have now stored in the garage. So I don't know if that's something that we can move on faster, or as well as
Well, if it's jeopardizing your garage,
Mhm.
then I think we can help you out all faster.
okay.
Yeah, but you still need to give us some idea of what you want to do.
Yeah, I have it outlined there in stage 1 of this project plan. And then if the spillway patio, which is what I called it, there's so much debris broken up on that patio, and it doesn't touch the water unless the water level is so high that it runs over it. And I would like to be able to clean that off so that, the next storm that does come, or the next rainfall that comes and brings all that water flowing through, that it at least has its normal way of passing across that patio and off the back end. And then perhaps we could get into the other, more thorough work where at some point machinery is going to have to come into the water to do some of this. But I think that with Mike here, that we could at least get a skid loader and some things up next to that patio. It wouldn't actually be going into the water at this point, but it would allow us to do as much as we can to get that patio cleared. And then in terms of the brook that runs between the Leonards and our garage parcel, if that could be, dredged and widened and moved back to where it originally flowed.
Are you working with the Leonards?
Yeah.
To do this
Yeah.
sort of jointly?
Yeah, Blake's, the brook runs from his property and then cuts across our property line onto my property. So we would work in tandem. I've spoken, a great deal to him.
He still doesn't have access to his house, does he?
He has access now,
Oh,
yeah.
'Cause the
And
driveway was pretty much a
I'm
blur.
sorry
Yeah,
to
yeah,
interrupt,
it looked-
but Blake's application is also on their, the F 2014 is also Blake's
Okay.
application, so they're both going in it together.
Yeah.
All right, well, we will come out and take a look. It sounds like pretty overwhelming to me, but
Yeah.
thank you.
All right, thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Good luck.
Thank you.
All right, where are we? So that was, this was,
We're going back to F 2020.
that's 2020. Well, we just scheduled site visits for all. Not sure what you other folks are here for. We've kind of run through our agenda.
I'm F, 2017,
Okay?
may I address you?
Yeah. Yep. Please, do.
My name is Donna Stevens Jacobs. I own 306 Southford Road in Southbury. Our driveway, I have to read my notes because I'm just going to break
fine.
down
That's
and,
perfectly fine.
okay, so the driveway is located at 302, which is Lot 12A, 306, which is my property, 12B, and 314, which is Lot 12C on Southford Road. The driveway is owned by 302 and 306 in a less than equal split. 302 has a 45 width at 67, reducing to 25, going to the stream. 306 has a 55 width at 67, reducing to a 37.25. Most of 12A's property is off the paved driveway. Southbury Town Map 1667, which was approved May 9th of 1977, shows 12B being split to add Lot 12C. Lot 12C is a landlocked parcel. At the same time, 12C was granted an easement of access on 12B driveway for ingress and egress, as delineated on the said map. Definition of an easement, in case you don't know, which I'm sure you do, an easement grants a specific right. In this case, it clearly states on the map and in the land records the right to egress and ingress only. The driveway was originally constructed in 1974-75 with two 24 by 24 inch by 20 feet corrugated metal pipe. From the time I and my husband purchased the property in June of 1977 through 2010, we had no issue at all with water or washout of the driveway. Something changed around 2010. During the fall of 2010, we had a tremendous rainstorm which heavily damaged the north side of the driveway. I and two workers from a trucking company manually and successfully put in place 2 triaxles of riprap to stabilize the embankment. It was a lot of work. That held quite well for 7 years. On October 30th of 2017, we had a tremendous rainstorm. A tarp and debris from upstream got caught in one of the 24-inch pipes. That caused approximately 40 to 50% of our driveway to collapse, pulling the asphalt that was on the driveway down in that area. The failed 24-inch pipe was removed and replaced with 36-inch by 20-foot HDPE culvert pipe, riprap, track rock, and processed stone. My neighbor's husband at 314 12C has always stockpiled many tons of millings on his property, so he top-coated the area with some millings. At that time, I wasn't aware of their toxicity, especially near water. Nor was I aware that we needed a permit to do that repair. That repair worked very well, although for the last 7 years, when we had a heavy rain, I would go down to see if I still had a driveway. A few times the water came up to the top, but never over the driveway. My neighbor's husband added millings on a few occasions when we developed sinkholes. On Sunday, August 18th at 2:49 p.m., the water from upstream was so high and forceful, it took out one of the 36-inch by 20-foot culvert pipes from the driveway. It was gone, nowhere to be seen. By Monday, August 19th, the morning after the mudslide came through, the loss of the driveway was deeper and wider. The 24-inch pipe was and is still wrapped around a tree on the north side of the driveway, along with the guardrail that was on the north side of the driveway is wrapped in the same position. There's now a 40-foot long, 30-foot wide, 11-foot deep hole in the driveway. I have since found and recovered a portion of my 36-inch pipe. It will not be used in the repair of the driveway. I am of the strong opinion that the correct repair for this driveway is a steel beam concrete bridge. This would be a one-and-done repair, costly, yes, but also the correct way to handle the amount of water that comes through this area. Due to the cost and time constraints, my abutting neighbors, lots 12A and C, don't agree and want to go with HDPE culvert. I have a contractor who has worked with the Army Corps of Engineers on several occasions. He's fully aware of their requirements for this repair. I am also working with Charles Spath of Stuart Summers Surveyors in Southbury. He's working on drainage calculation. I have no idea what that is, but he said you surely do. As well as the site plan for the driveway location. He did the same work for a couple of driveways upstream that have already been rebuilt. The proposed repair for this drive is 2 ADS HDPE corrugated culverts to be established in the former footprint. The stone that will be blasted riprap, 3 9s plus crushed stone, and 1 1/4 inch stone. A guardrail will be installed on the north side and random boulders along the south side to prevent drive-off. The underground electric and cable lines come through on the south side of the driveway, hence the use of boulders rather than a guardrail. The driveway will be asphalt binder coated after the repair is complete to allow for settling before the final coat goes on. The final asphalt coat, top coat, will go on in the spring or summer of 2025. This is intended to be a permanent repair versus a temporary repair. The minutes of September 18th frightened me because I didn't know anything about inland wetland before this. In a lot of the, or all of the permit requests, the approvals state that ACOE and DEEP approvals are also necessary. I am not a woman of high means. I need to do this repair once. I can't afford to do it twice. The cost of the driveway is quite high, even with using ADS HDPE pipe. Concerned that ACO and DEP may want something other than what we are proposing, or by costing even more to rectify to their standards afterward, I have been in touch with both entities regarding the repair. We're working together regarding how to best handle the repair. I am hopeful to put this all behind us and move forward with life. As a side note, I am most interested in hearing how this board and the town of Southbury plan to deal with the immense debris of solar panels, batteries, lawn equipment, huge tree stumps and fallen trees, and so much more that lay in the swamp, the waterway, upstream from the driveway. It will all wash down. It all washed down from the original mudslide. The Bridle Trail Repair Division of the DEP told me that they are not responsible for that cleanup. They only take care of 50 feet of the bridle trail and nothing beyond that. The people whose property is is their responsibility, is what he told me. I just can't believe that. He also told me that if you could find the owners of the property, you could make them remove it. I think I know, it's crazy. We've all experienced so much monetary and personal loss in this, and I can't believe we don't have anybody behind us. Homeowners insurance tells you they don't cover driveways. This area doesn't require flood insurance, but even if we had flood insurance doesn't cover driveways. FEMA doesn't cover driveways. This is an $85,000 repair, okay? Again, I can't afford to do it more than once. I learned last evening that 12C is going to be on this evening's agenda, F2019. 314 Southford Road to repair her driveway. Being that she's not an owner of any part of the driveway, I can't see how this commission would authorize her to make repairs, modifications, or changes to the property that she does not own. The right to egress and ingress does not allow her to modify or encumber my property in any way. I have not and will not authorize any work to be performed on my property by anyone other than whom I hire. I look forward to your input on this matter. And for a side note, ACOC will not, Army Corps of Engineers, will not permit a side-by-side driveway. And if a driveway is put in anything other than the original footprint, it needs a full, proper permitting. You can't just cowboy it. Thank you for your time.
Well,
I'm sorry, should I wait? Okay.
I suspect we're all gonna have some questions. Are you getting along with Ms. Sullivan?
Nope.
You're not, haven't worked your issues out with them?
No, because this is the fourth recommendation I have made, and every one before has been turned down. This particular one that I'm recommending, I was told by Ms. Sullivan 2 weeks ago that she would go along if I went with the contractor that I had given the paperwork to. I contracted him. I had him come out and meet with all of us. He reduced his bill, and now they're beating it down more. I don't have much left in me. If it becomes a civil matter, it becomes a civil matter. I'm ready for that as well. But at this point, I'm just looking to get a driveway, okay? I paid to have a footbridge installed because Barry has issues, and this is 302 Southford Road, and I paid that on my dollar. It's a 3-foot by 20-foot graded grate that I had stone walls built and put that on top so that he can get off his property.
As your engineer, Stuart, well, actually, they're surveyors and engineers, but have they given you an idea of when they'll have the plan finalized?
I wear hearing aids. I'm not hearing you.
Stuart Summers Company, you were working with Stuart
Charles
Summers?
Spath.
Right,
That's the
Spath
one.
Company.
Yep.
So did he give you an estimate of when his plan would be ready for you?
By the next meeting.
Okay.
Okay, that helps.
Yes.
So that's kind of the first step in the process to get a
It's been
plan.
very difficult, quite
I-
frankly, to figure out, who comes first and what goes second.
Yeah,
And the thought, God bless all these people that are doing these temporary fixes. They obviously have more money than I can't afford to do this.
well, it sounds like the scope of your problem would
It's larger.
prohibit a temporary fix really anyway, if it's 40 feet
Oh,
wide,
it's-
30,
it's-
The temporaries
11
tend
feet.
to be,
you know.
Yeah. And
this
when
big.
you come to the property and pictures do not do it justice.
I'm sure,
It's devastating.
I'm sure. We've been to those sites all over town in the last few weeks, so.
And after tonight, quite frankly, I feel that I shouldn't even be here feeling bad for myself. People have it
Yes.
Yes.
so much worse.
Yeah.
So I would like to have a driveway, but I'm humbled by what they've all endured. And
Okay.
It's staggering.
oh my God. And there's no one to help.
So I think what we'll do is we'll just table this or continue it
Continue.
pending the
This is a
plan
new
from
application, Carl.
Stuart Summers or
And then,
Charlie
once
Spath
we
or-
have that, we wanna come out
Yep.
and be able to look at it physically, to
Absolutely.
see where this goes, where that goes, what changes you might wanna make,
You can go.
And
whatever.
be in the
But-
footprint that it was.
Right.
Okay.
So, and when he talks about the hydraulic calculations, he's going to look at the watershed that provides water to that location and then figure out the type of watershed that it is so that he can size the culvert pipes appropriately. Maybe you need 3 pipes in there or
Right.
whatever the case is.
Right.
So once we get that, then we'll be able to really move forward.
Quite frankly, also, the only thing that I see that changed in 2010, and it was 2010 like that, we never had any issue. There's so much construction of Pepper Trail and all of that feeds into I'm the last driveway
Mhm.
before 67. So everything on the left side of 67
Yeah.
comes through the culverts to my side. And everything that's north of me, or south, which I can't get that right, but
Yep.
north is below me, south is above me, and all of that comes,
Yeah.
and
That's the
speaking,
problem.
I'm sorry?
That's your problem.
Right,
Yeah.
and so, but it's my problem, but it's not my problem. Because
Exactly.
what am I supposed to do? Every couple of years, I'm gonna increase my pipe size?
No, I understand, believe me.
You know,
We-
and, you know, the state doesn't wanna know anything about it, hopefully you guys wanna know something about it, because I can't endure it,
Mhm.
you know? I had really hoped to retire in 2 years, that's not happening. And it's the position that I'm in right now, and it's really.
All right, well, we're gonna work together and we'll get,
We'll try to get it done
Thank
with,
you.
with you.
You're
I know
welcome.
it's very
Yep.
difficult. It probably would help if you can get Ms. Sullivan to cooperate.
2019, Miss Sullivan's present. My name's Michelle Sullivan.
Welcome.
I live at 314 Southford Road. My property shares the benefit of a driveway to get to Route 67. It's our only way in and out of the property with my neighbors, the Gromans, as well as with Donna Stevens. So we've worked over the last 8 weeks continually to try to agree to a solution to regain access. None of us have any way in or out of the property. There's a 1/4-mile driveway after the breach to each house. My neighbors are in their 70s. My father is in his 70s and spends this time of year with us. And the access to the property has been a meaningful challenge throughout. Coming into this meeting, ironically, I was under the impression that we had finally worked towards and agreed on a solution. And so if you look at the proposal from 2017 and on 2019, they're actually the same proposal. 2 60-inch HD PE pipes with riprap installed as a base, 1.25-inch stone installed, or bank run gravel installed around it, compacted. And we all thought collectively that it was moving forward, and that what we were compelling this committee to do was approve our ability to get back into our property on an emergency basis. And then in keeping with what's been approved elsewhere, I would expect that that becomes, approved on an ongoing basis thereafter. We've worked with Jason Edwards throughout to both survey the property as well as we'll have plans available in the next couple of days. To this point, Donna had conveyed to us that her contractor was available and the pipe would arrive on Thursday. So in terms of what we just heard, excuse me if I'm not slightly taken aback, the matters that I didn't feel were appropriate for this forum are, I guess more civil matters of a question of budget, of a question of timeline, and of a question of how much money should be provided by owners up front. We received a bid from FSM, the folks who rebuilt North Georges Hill Road, reputable, credible, accredited with the Better Business Bureau, and we're inclined to move in that direction because he offered to help us solve the problem in a way that was cost effective. That's obviously not a matter for this board, and so I hate that this conversation has even occurred. But ultimately, the defining distinction here is, as communicated to Donna earlier tonight, we're not comfortable paying upfront for the repair. We've worked with her contract, Steve, directly of Stone Ridge, to reduce the deposit required from 50 to 60% down to a third, so that it would be only Donna's portion required to start the repair. the repair would be done within 2 weeks, and we have each agreed to pay our portion of that repair, despite it being significantly higher in expense than the bid from FSM. We were doing so in an effort to get this over, because it's been a nightmare that's kept all of us up at night. We get texts on a regular basis dictating to us what's going to occur and who we're gonna pay up front. And so, yes, I do benefit from an easement over that property. It's my only way out. And I have, as encouraged by Jordan from Wetlands, discussed my rights and Donna's obligations of ingress and egress with an attorney. They've assured me that I do have the right to put in this application. My neighbors are aboard the plan as well. They own the property, 50% of the property that's breached. Donna continually refers to this as her driveway, but it is genuinely our driveway. It is our only way to get in and out of this property. And so what we were here to do was ask, regardless of who the contractor is, that we get approval for the emergency repair of our driveway with the installation of 2 60-inch pipes in keeping with what was already approved in this meeting upstream of us and has already been repaired weeks ago. Because we're approaching 8 weeks and we won't have oil for our homes if we keep going. We've had no access to emergency care, and we've had an immense amount of stress that has made that emergency care much more necessary and compelling. And so what I would ask is that we all just put everything else aside and find a way to get over that last hurdle so that we can all just have our freedom back. And ultimately, if the ability to pay up front to a contractor that we don't know is the distinguishing feature, then I would compel you to move forward with a contractor who's willing to charge us nothing up front and just do the repair and do it right. He's done it. He's rebuilt the roads. I don't care who we use. I just care that it goes away and that we don't take the risk up front of handing a stranger $30,000. She's right. I did sit in their living room and say, to end this, let's just go with this bid that you came up with. And you know what wasn't on that bid? A 50% deposit. I thought it was the end of the demands of upfront large sums of money that none of us have to throw away. So all we're asking for is approval to put in a driveway. We have plans coming in the next 2 days. And
I'm sorry?
that's it.
So,
I think we have to have a plan first.
We
For
need-
something of that scale, but
We need the plans. You're not both gonna get approved. That's not happening.
But we're asking for the same thing. So if we just get one plan approved, can we please just move forward?
So just to I'm sorry to interrupt, but today, both your applications are considered as new applications, and so the job of the commission is to accept the application and set up a site visit. And I know that in the past, Jordan has come down to your sites and taken a look at it, but from a commission's point of view, they need to, follow the protocol, which is taking in the application, accepting it, and scheduling a site visit, which I will be doing with you in the upcoming week. After that, at the next meeting is when you can, they will have the deliberation and discuss and
So we
decide whether
can't
to
wait
approve.
4 more weeks
Another
out.
month.
Yeah, it's
We-
getting cold.
We can't, it's cold.
We can, however,
We have-
schedule a special meeting if it comes to
Well,
that, but.
One second. So when this first happened, just like in keeping with all of our other neighbors, Jordan was very clear that we could move forward with the emergency repairs to the driveway. with the culvert solution as long as we upsized. As Donna communicated, we're going from a 3-foot pipe with 3-foot overflow pipe to dual 60-inch pipes that are already installed in our neighbors' properties and have been approved not by one engineer, but by 2 engineers. And so I understand the need to follow the process and to make sure that the repairs are done right. I've been assured by members, by the assistant of the first selectman, that we won't be required to rip out these so-called temporary plans. And so I just want to get out. Like, I just want to get back to life. I just want to find a way to get my neighbors to safety, to get my father to safety, so that we don't have to evacuate our properties and move.
Step up and give us your name, please.
We're the 302 senior members of this little triangle. We've lived there for 41 years. 41, almost 42.
We can tell you're married.
Anyway,
When the house went up, didn't let it go in, we repainted everything and whatnot, so.
yes, it was
I was there, she wasn't.
He bought it for us. My parents were very upset. So were his parents because of the location. It was the 70s. We were young, but not stupid. Best investment we ever made. So we're very happy where we are. We've not had a tragedy like this. We are good people. We are wonderful neighbors. We're a group of 3. This has been long and hard, probably one of the hardest things I've ever had to endure in life. This tragedy happened even at a time when I had left my husband to go on a girls' vacation with my 93-year-old mother, who right now cannot come to visit us. And I spent every Sunday with her. That's a priority of my life. She's 93, and I'm very blessed. So many, many things have changed in our lives, not only the stress, the scare that I cannot have an ambulance come and help us should either of us get sick or any of the 3 or 4. My husband's knee replacement surgery had to be canceled because I couldn't get him home for rehab because there is no access for us to get to our house. Luckily, I was away. So we have 2 cars. Each of us have 2 cars, 2 vehicles. We can take my car from the garage, which was my husband's car, down to the hole, and we park it there. And then we walk across that graded footbridge, which is a godsend. It's the only way we can get out of our homes. It's walking on that footbridge to the other side of the hole where our other car is parked. Fortunately, we have a second car, so that can happen. But when we get off that footbridge, first of all, at the beginning of this, I had a curfew because it gets dark and you can't walk on that pathway without flashlights. You know, we're in the dark and it's treacherous. It's debris still. We're still picking up glass and other things. Let me finish. And then as you get to the other side, it's up a hill, a pretty steep one, dirt, so we can slip and slide. Now there are leaves and acorns, and when it rains, it gets slippery. And we're 70 plus, we are anyway, okay? This has been an ordeal that has been beyond the imagination of my life. The stress it puts on us, we hardly talk to each other, hardly talk to each other, hardly talk to each other. It's heartbreaking, heartbreaking. We have exhausted every possible option. We've gotten together. We have had discussions. We have had texts, emails. We try to agree to something, and then something else comes up. We look at other options. They're out of our reach as far as financially goes. I mean, we're retired. I don't want to go back to work. I am a retired teacher in Region 15. I've put 38 years of service in my job. I want to enjoy my days. I don't want to walk down my driveway in a treacherous path to a hole that I just look at and cry because it can't be fixed. Not because we don't want to fix it. Our heart and soul is into fixing this thing. We just want to agree on a plan that is on a budget, a plan that will get us living our lives again. I can't see Thanksgiving and telling my children they can't come home. Or another Sunday where I can't have my mother come visit me so she can FaceTime her grandson who lives in London. And that's the only way because she doesn't have internet at her house. We are desperate here, beyond desperate. Today is day 51. I feel like I'm living through COVID again. And I marked the calendar every single day. I wake up and say, oh God, it's a new day. Maybe we're one day closer. Maybe we can arrive at an agreement where we can all feel we can get back to our normal lives. I'm tired of carrying my groceries up that path. I'm tired of bringing the garbage from my house to get it to the dump down that treacherous path. I'm just tired now. It's been 52 days where I cannot feel normal. And every morning, I wake up with this same pit in my stomach. Okay, here we go again. Which text is coming in first? Which one is second? What's changing today? Why does this have to continue? We need your help. Please, please help us. You have to come
And
up
we were
here.
told all the times we came at the beginning, don't worry, as soon as it's set, we're in, because we're on the
Right.
emergency.
We came to
things
see
begin with.
Jordan so many times.
And they said, as soon as it is, we were okay, because we're stuck in a place in the middle of, Southwood Road, and we're really in the middle of it, and it's strange.
Well, the road is still closed too.
No, but it's easy,
yeah,
but it's,
yeah.
but it's
Yeah,
simple.
we
there
just
for
want
us now.
access to Southford Road. We just want to get out.
Well, there are things you're dealing with we can't help with.
We understand
But you're
that.
about 90% of the way done on this.
We are.
Yeah,
Is
but
there
we
any,
can't do the last decision.
is there any issue as to ability to pay, to get the final cost paid for this bridge?
No.
Are
This
you in
culvert.
agreement
They
with
have
that?
to pick which they want.
I don't understand
Yeah.
what that
Well,
means.
right now, I thought we were very close with,
Do you all agree on the design?
yes,
Okay.
yes.
So the issue is the cost, correct?
Well, and the
Not
contractor.
really. Not really.
Knocked down. So it's now like $78,000 all done.
Sounds to me more like the issue is the time frame.
Well, the timeframe is,
Framing it, yep, there.
It seems to be the main
Yeah.
concern. Which contract?
they can't get the money together.
Now, the money, we have.
We
plenty-
can do that.
That's been
We
put
can
away
So what's
for
the
the whole
issue?
time.
It's the timing and the deposit, it's the payment up front and the timing of when the repair will
Okay,
occur.
the deposit,
Because of the contractor. They're different contractors, so you trust one and you have two different contractors, right?
They agreed to use her
As long
contractor.
as she pays the deposit up front to use her contractor.
Look,
Our contractor requires a zero.
can you
say.
beat the contractor down on the deposit? Give him a third.
That's not the whole truth.
That's
okay?
none of our.
The truth is that they don't want to pave it. It needs to be paved. It is a 60, once it's done, it will be a 65-foot by 16-foot area over the water. It can't be left with millings, which aren't gonna happen. Well, that's no way are we using that.
So you're saying, no, you don't agree on the design.
So it needs to be paved, and they won't agree to pave it.
Can't help you.
I know that,
That's just
but
outs-
that's the real truth of what the issue is right now. I'm not gonna do this part way. I will agree to doing it completely and incompletely, but I will not agree to doing it part way.
Actually, the paving, we were told not by one or two or three or four people say that you should have the material settle prior to putting pavement over it. I don't know if you guys know
Okay.
construction. I don't know
Final
construction.
coat should go in for the winter, and then the final coat goes on in the spring or summer.
Then that's what you explained to me Friday, the
So
difference.
that's not an issue.
When's that?
So that's not an issue. I still don't understand what your issue is.
So the one thing I can say is, correct me if I'm wrong, Spence, is that the purpose of the emergency repair is that if an emergency work needs to be done, you can go ahead and conduct the work, and the commission will just follow through with the work that is being done. The issue here right now is that you guys are not agreeing on a common plan, and therefore, it doesn't really matter if the commission is approving or not. The reality is that you guys have
Well, that's another issue, because this is way beyond an emergency repair. You can't just go in there and do what you're planning on doing in a stream like this, where it can interfere with many other people. So this is really not gonna be covered as an emergency repair. It's gonna be treated as a permanent repair, which is what you want anyway.
Emergency repair is a temporary repair, correct?
Yes and no, it depends, it depends on the scope of the work that's being done. And what I am saying is that the scope of work here is too much to call it an emergency repair.
And there's a change in the design as well. Usually emergency repairs is because a pipe, the water went around the pipe and they're getting the water to go back into the pipe again. But when they start changing the number of pipes or the location or the elevations of them, that stops being an emergency repair at that point. It becomes a permanent repair done to a new design plan.
Which is
So
what this
I
is.
think the commission is asking to see the design plan first, and then we
We
can
need
go
to see
forward
the
with it.
design plan,
We
and
can't,
you need
we
to have
can't-
one plan.
We can't give you an approval for something that isn't in your application. So that's where we're stuck at.
And we're not gonna approve two
And-
in the same site.
Right, and nor will the
Not gonna
happen.
Army Corps of Engineers.
And in an effort to
Well, we
move
haven't
the
spoken with
process
them, so that's
forward
irrelevant.
quicker, if we can get the plans to us, we will do our best to set up a special meeting for you so that it doesn't have to go another month. That requires, a
We can-
quorum of
that we
four,
can do.
but we'll try to do
And
that.
we're willing to do that, but you have to have a plan.
So can we go back to the paving and the
And we're not putting
compaction?
millings on it either.
And so are you in agreement on, so you want it done faster, you don't want it can you drive over it while it's compacted? You can't drive
Yes.
over it.
Yeah.
Well, once it's built.
Yes,
Once it's built, you can drive on gravel, yes.
right, so they're saying that they need to put the fill in. The fill really needs to settle for a period of time before
they
you
can
can put the final coat of pavement on top.
But they can't be driving on it in
They
the.
can.
They can,
Yes,
okay,
they
so,
can.
And if it's
That's not-
installed
If we
can get
correctly,
that
you can
done-
pave it immediately.
Yes.
The issue is they
Right.
don't wanna pay for it. Up
yeah,
front.
I know.
It's
I know.
compacted.
That's the main issue.
Water and it gets as a bridge.
And that's fixable.
Or above the buckets.
No, because
I gotta get
the
three ways to
culverts are
fix
gonna have fill over.
You can get
Right.
three ways to
So if that's compacted
Extra money.
properly, you can pave
Yeah,
right
yeah,
over
yeah,
that
yeah.
immediately.
They need it.
Okay, as long as they can compact it the same
We
way
should.
they
How
can-
how soon will the hydraulics be available?
Can
To
we-
confirm
I
the
think
size
we
of the
need to
pipes?
just continue this pending the plan.
They should get a mediator if they can't do it.
I'm sorry, how soon will the
Get two
hydraulics
attorneys
be
together.
available to
Takes
confirm
5 minutes to figure
the
this
size of the
out.
pipes?
Once you say, I don't wanna pay,
The
and then
hydraulics,
you can't figure it
how
out.
soon,
That's coming from Charlie,
The
Scott.
other issue
and how
is
soon will that
if
be
these people
completed
don't agree,
so
she
that we
thinks
can
it doesn't,
determine that the
we have
pipes
a
that
title
are
fight.
being
Well,
I
proposed,
can call him and see if.
We're not getting involved in
do
that.
it sooner, yeah.
yeah, that would help.
If I can help it.
Because if the hydraulics show that the pipes are being proposed,
Right,
if
and
it,
that's what Charlie said. He said, you have an issue here, because two driveways upstream have already done their pipes and they use 36-inch pipes. Somebody supposedly used a 60-inch pipe, and he said, it works in two ways. So if you put in too big of a pipe,
the water flows faster.
right, but the people up top, I don't know if somebody really has a duck pond, but he used the duck pond as a reference. He said, if they have a duck pond and your pipe is too big, you're gonna drain their duck pond.
No, you're not.
And then
No,
if,
that's
not the way.
that's what he said.
Well,
And-
that's
And then he said,
not
The
if you
wetlands.
use too small of a pipe and they've got bigger pipes than you upstream,
You'll flood.
then
You'll
you're gonna
flood.
block it and then you're gonna have an issue. And quite frankly, that's my fear, because of the amount of water that comes through our
Listen,
area.
wait, okay, let's stop. We need a plan, we
Yeah.
need hydraulics done.
Okay.
We can't do anything, you guys have to figure out the money thing. We cannot help you with that.
Right.
I mean, there are only about 5 ways to fix that, if you're willing to work together. If you're not gonna work together, nothing's gonna work, all right? And going to court is stupid. Then you're all gonna spend $50,000 on lawyers and get nothing out of it.
Well, that's
So,
my point.
don't
I
do
should
that.
spend the money that way, but,
But we need a plan. Charlie Spath has been here hundreds of times, many times.
yeah, he did 2 driveways up from us, 2 of them.
That may be. We need a plan, we need to know exactly what's gonna be done and where it's gonna be done, so we can walk out there and look at it and say, this is a viable plan for this location. It has to include all three of you. Because we're not gonna let you do one and you do another next to it. That's not gonna happen.
We had no intention to do that.
I'm just saying, it's not gonna happen. I've got
We
two
had no
applications in
intention to do
front of me, and they're in conflict.
But they're not in conflict.
They
If
are
look
if you
at
don't agree on them.
the difference between the two plans is a layer of pavement going in on right now, or a layer of pavement going in next spring, once the thing has settled appropriately so that the pavement will actually be viable to use on an ongoing basis. So the difference is, we don't wanna throw away $6,500, $8,000 or whatever. We just wanna put it in next spring. That's what you're
That's
talking
what
about in
gonna- I
terms of
think
the
that's what
difference in
you're- that's what
plans.
Mr. Spath is gonna tell you have to do anyway.
What?
They're not gonna tell you to pave it and then repave it.
Well, that's what she wants.
Well, that may be what she wants, but let's see what the engineer says.
Well, but if she can hold us captive for an entire another month while she waits on her plans, so Jason Edwards is gonna have us plans in the next 2 days.
We can have an engineer who's gonna develop the plan, he's gonna be sitting or standing there or somewhere in here, depending on where we are, and we'll see what he has to say, we can address that way. Not the two of you arguing about it. That's not help informing us of anything, you're not experts on any of this.
And
So
most,
stop worrying about it, get the plan. If you have an engineer who thinks something else, bring him in, that's fine. We can deal with conflicting engineers, we can't deal with conflicting property owners.
and we can have an emergency meeting, so you don't have to wait a whole month. When you get your act together, let us know.
set
We'll do our
something up.
best.
It'll probably be in an afternoon. And let's try to get it resolved, because all of you need to get back to your properties.
Yes, we do.
We're gonna continue this probably sometime in the next couple of weeks. Do you know when Charlie's gonna have plans to you?
I'll call him tomorrow.
Good, that would be great.
Because
The
they're
s-
gonna have plans in 2 days. If you can get your plans, figure out how you're gonna go
The
forward.
engineers can
One
talk
of
to
these
each other and figure it
applications
out.
will have to be withdrawn.
That's correct, but we're not dealing with that tonight.
No, but I'm just
Yeah, you're
notifying
absolutely right.
them.
One of these applications will have to be withdrawn.
The trouble is her contractor told me that he was starting the work on Thursday.
No, he's not.
No,
So-
I have not authorized him, I have not agreed with that, no, haven't even had that conversation.
Anything
Well, they don't
else?
have any permits, so they better not start anything.
No, he won't be.
Okay? Thank you. Please, go home. Pour yourselves a drink, smoke a joint, whatever it is that makes you happy.
As for the people who,
Thank you for your time.
Well, it's legal now,
as
so.
for the people who technically have the highest level but can't do anything about it, how long would it take at this time of?
Does what take?
No, to get this stuff put in there, put up.
I don't know that.
They
You have
said
to
2
settle on
weeks.
They said a couple of weeks. It's not a real complicated plan, but it's also not a footbridge, so.
And we hope to have it done before the weather gets to be too cold.
I think that's,
I think
I think that's completely
good
doable.
idea.
You know, I think.
And you gotta get your knee fixed.
Not that big, but,
Yes,
you know,
he needs to get his knee fixed, absolutely.
and if I didn't take extra pills to get down
Goodbye.
there, it'd be about.
Oh, boy.
That's how I got here.
Uh-oh.
Tired of it.
You better drive.
I think the next one, Advil and Tylenol.
Oh, okay.
Okay. We need to, we have to close up.
Absolutely.
We're losing our quorum here.
Good night.
We're just gonna do this other stuff another time, all right? Let's adjourn.
Yes.
I move we adjourn. Carl seconds. We're out of here.
Donna just adjourned the meeting on.
They can ask for the money, they can put half, they can put up less. No one insists on 50% if you press them. Tell them I got another contract that wants nothing.
We need to officially adjourn this meeting?
did.
We did.
We did? Okay.
Well, you're
I did,
smart.
I did. I'm so sorry. So sorry.
We left you in charge. We're done. You finished for us.
Clearly, you don't need us, so.
Dun, dun, dun. Maybe you could
Thank
talk
you,
to both
everybody.
people as
Thanks
they
for
exit.
Holy
A
smokes.
little interview.
There you go. Welcome aboard.
Well,
Honestly, we don't usually
See,
get that.
see, I spend my day on that side of the table at the podium. And
Where we get that stuff